The BBC's Director General resigns after the Hutton report. Greg Dyke says he did it to protect the organisation.
This has been an unpleasant and difficult time for it. I hope with me going, that's the end of it.
Meanwhile, the BBC's governors offer the government an unreserved apology. Tony Blair calls the resignations an honourable act and says it's time to move on. Meanwhile, hundreds of BBC staff take part in nationwide protests in support of Greg Dyke.
In other news in this hour, thousands of schools close as snow showers and icy roads force children to stay at home. Plus, cannabis confusion why going from B to C isn't as easy as it sounds.
Hello, good evening. Hundreds of BBC staff across the country have been staging protests this afternoon about the resignation of the Director General Greg Dyke. His departure was closely followed by an unreserved apology from the acting chairman of the BBC's governors. The Prime Minister said that was all he was after. In the last few minutes, the Culture Secretary Tessa Jowell has dismissed claims that the government humiliated the corporation, and she has guaranteed its future independence. But a senior BBC journalist, its World Affairs editor John Simpson, tonight said there had never been such a sustained or ferocious attack on the corporation. Another dramatic day began at lunchtime with a resignation statement in which Greg Dyke said he hoped a line could now be drawn under the whole episode, and he insisted it had always been his aim to defend the editorial independence of the BBC. Speaking a short time later, the acting chairman, Lord Ryder, apologised unreservedly for the BBC's errors.
Shocked staff at the BBC have been protesting at the departure of Director General Greg Dyke, under pressure from the government over his refusal to issue an unqualified apology following Lord Hutton's criticisms.
A rap over the knuckles would have done, but to lose both Gavin Davies and Greg Dyke, I think is really a high price to pay.
The job of Director General is not a popularity contest. It's we got very badly criticised by the Hutton report. Whether that's fair or not fair is for another time, but I think if you're that badly criticised, it's right for the Director General to go. And I think only by going will we be able to draw a line.
He hoped no further resignations were needed. Yesterday he'd been clearly unwilling to give the unreserved apology Downing Street required.
The certain key allegations reported by Andrew Gilligan on the Today programme on May the 29th last year were wrong, and we apologise for them. However, we would point out again...
But today the corporation's new acting chairman, Lord Ryder, duly delivered the necessary apology for the BBC's allegation that the government knowingly exaggerated the threat from Iraq to justify war.
On behalf of the BBC, I have no hesitation in apologising unreservedly for our errors and to the individuals whose reputations were affected by them.
Leading that still independent and still questioning BBC until a new Director General is appointed, a lifelong BBC man who joined at age 21, who the acting chairman says is steeped in the values of public broadcasting, 45-year-old Mark Byford.
It is now my task as acting Director General to lead the organisation through what is a very turbulent period. We must now study the Hutton report carefully, learn appropriate lessons and implement relevant measures.
Meanwhile, outside the television centre, this was the reception a short time ago for Greg Dyke as he arrived to bid his staff farewell. Andrew Burrows, BBC News.